Now, do you see my vision?
The Chumscrubber, or Glück in Kleinen Dausen, is a 2005 comedy drama film directed by Ari Posen, starring an ensemble cast led by Jamie Bell.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I won't believe who's actually leading this cast. Before the I could not wait for him to introduce the episode. I need to play this guessing game before we do anything else.
Yes.
So before you say who we are, who I am, what this cast is, can we, as a warm-up exercise for our new listeners and a fun game for our returning listeners, can you tell me who you think the top 3 billed actors are in this film according to IMDb? I don't know how they picked it. It's probably some algorithm on who's hot right now, or not. So can you tell me who the top 3 billed actors are in the Chumscrubber on IMDb today? I don't know if it changes.
So pause the video, go check it out, and then come back, see if you're right. I'm going to try this. I'm going to say Jamie Bell's number 1.
Hotel room and get ready and put all my clothes on and stuff. And I was thrown into this white Merc and drove off, and all of a sudden I get out of this car and all these big massive screams all over the place.
Yeah, there's not much an algorithm can do to bump him off that. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if he should be, but...
Hold on a second. Is this a therapy session?
For better or worse, Jamie Bell is probably...
This is the least Irish he's ever sounded, and it was early in his career. Like, he got more Irish the longer he lived in America. It was crazy. This movie, he's like, hello, Mrs. Joseph. And then, like, 10 years later, he's like, I'm a paladin with jumpers! Half a pound!
There's times in here where his accent would seep through. Not like Carrie Elway's, like, The Crush bad, and it looked like he would bite himself. Like, because he like, every time I started hearing an Irish accent, he made, like, a twitch. So I'm like, he, like, bit his tongue. And I just saw that. Like... They didn't have, like, the budget or time to make him, like, redo the take. They're just like, oh, that's one. And he's like, Argh!
We are burning daylight.
How could you not have Glenn Close or Ray Fiennes? I would, if I were making this, I would say Jamie Bell, Ray Fiennes, and Glenn Close.
According to IMDb, Jamie Bell's number 1. Number 2, Allison Janney.
Quivering member. I like that.
No. Not
Number
Wendy
3.
Malick, basically.
Number 3, Rory Culkin, which tells me it's probably like, hey, season 3 of Succession. A lot of people are clicking on his name right now. Allison Janney's probably on some CBS show.
Right.
And that's the people who watch CBS are the people who don't remember actors' names and have to go to IMDb a lot. It's the woman who was in that thing. What's her name? And then they're watching Blue Bloods because that's who watches CBS. So Allison Janney's super hot right now, I guess. That was fun. Welcome to the Cult of Films, where we play lots of games where we just go to IMDb and laugh.
Another little mini series. It doesn't have a Jean-Claude Van Damme kick you in the face type gimmick. This is not a Kumite. But this is kind of like, I don't know. There's no even, like, termed coin for this. It's like,
what kind
not
of
like
fighting if it's not a Kumite, what kind of fighting tournament is this episode then?
Right. We'll just say this is a John versus Jason, or John and Jason. Like, we picked 2 films.
We're sparring.
Sparring. That one film Jason picked and the other film I picked. And we always recommend films to the audience, but this time we recommended films to the co-host, essentially.
Because we wanted to do a movie that I'd seen and he hadn't, and one that he'd seen and I hadn't. And that's kind of hard. Not to brag, but we don't have lives, and we watch more movies than the average person, so finding something that is sufficiently culty, but the kind of movie that a person who actively seeks out cult films wouldn't have gotten to. So it's been tough to find 2 movies that qualify, but I think we found some bangers for you.
So this is Jason's recommendation to me. Mm-hmm. This is the Chumscrubber. I've never even heard of this film. So
Not
this
surprised. Not surprised.
I was so surprised. It came out in 2005. Mm-hmm. So this was like 3 years after I not only graduated high school but had a child, so maybe I was a little busy at this point.
It's like prime movie watching time for me. So like I managed to myth it. I miffed that take. I managed to
Bite
miss
the
this.
inside of your mouth, you Jamie Belled it.
It's the Irishman inside me trying to get out.
Just all I'm saying is, anything you guys can do, we can do just as stupidly.
We want potatoes. I was at I was in Ireland, not to brag. We stopped at this terrible restaurant called Little Chef, and it was breakfast time. And I didn't want like blood pudding or whatever. I just wanted like some regular shit. And I was like, "Can you just make me some hash browns?" And they come back and they're like, "All our potatoes are bad." I'm like, "You were taking this much better this time around." It's just how nonchalant an Irish person saying all the potatoes are bad. I was like, "Oh no!"
You're like, you just did it? Just in the first 5 minutes, you just went there. Couldn't believe the disparity of the budget to the box office to the cast of this thing. I have never
Unreal.
like this cast is absolutely unreal.
Why don't you rattle some of them off, Jonathan? It really impress our listeners. And
We have
viewers.
Jamie Bell, we have Camilla Bell, not related, hopefully. Justin
Yeah.
Chatwin.
He was on Weeds also. He looks like the guy from Green Day. That's his claim to fame.
He's Billy Joe Armstrong's stunt
He
double.
was literally in a Green Day music video, and so was Jamie Bell apparently. But yeah, this Justin
yeah.
Chatwin was in a Billy Joe King. What's his name? Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Jean King.
Perfect.
Listen, I'll remember two names.
Yeah.
Sting. I never fucked up Sting's name. Madonna.
Sure.
Gotcha. But if I don't need to know your middle name. You're Billy Armstrong. What?
It's too much.
It's too much. I clearly was
It's
in a Green Day music video just because he looks like tennis star Billie Jean King.
Dragon Ball is where I was going. The
Yeah.
ultimate William Fichtner, who's one of my favorite like just character actors.
Wait. You want us to sell Amway?
It's Confederated Products. It's a different company. It's a different quality of product.
That's like in everything. Allison Janney, like you said, Ray Fiennes, Glenn Close. This thing is like nobodies and Oscar winners, and the
And then
Clash.
John Hurd. How do you classify John Hurd?
He was there too.
I read an interview with him in like Men's Health magazine on a plane or something like that, and he was like, "I can't believe they killed me off on The Sopranos," and he brought it up like 2 more times in the interview. Like, I'm not mad they killed my character on The Sopranos. I mean, I got a mortgage to pay, but it's fine. Yeah, don't let me do a whole season. Yeah, I get it.
Veggie Force. I know that stuff, right? I know. Veggie Force, right? Okay. Yeah. Hey, you don't happen to know they make a weight gainer for kids?
I could check, I guess.
What's really funny is like all the British actors work together on everything.
Yeah, like I think we said off air that this was like a Harry Potter reunion because you had Lucius Malfoy with Voldemort himself, and it was just like, Jesus, all the Slytherins in this. So you have that cast, and then a $10 million budget, which this didn't require besides actors' salaries.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, now that I think about it, they do kind of go for it as far as effects go.
Here we go.
That like money for nothing music video effects.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like that Xavier Renegade Angel on Adult Swim kind of effects. Like they're, I don't know if they were purposely bad. Like 2005, we could do better.
Sure.
We had PlayStation 2 in 2005. You could do a lot better than. So I couldn't tell if that was like Chumscrubber's a shitty cartoon and we're just doing like, you don't know that that's not how the Chumscrubber show looks.
Right.
In an apartment above the cloud left by the blast. I'm one of the lucky ones. One morning, I woke to find that my head was no longer attached to my body.
Because the Chumscrubber was a comic book. Why don't you explain what the Chumscrubber is, John? Good luck.
We'll get into that real quick, but before that, I want to know how you found this. I know you, like you said, it was prime movie finding and viewing, age for you. But how did this one slip through the cracks so hard, and you picked this one up?
Actually, a friend of mine named Kathleen invited me over to watch this, and it was so good we watched the movie. I really liked it. Yeah.
Was this one that you were recommending to people throughout your?
Eventually.
Yeah.
I think our friend group, there's a guy that kind of looks like Jamie Bell but more punchable, and
Jamie Bell's very punchable.
I think that everyone's like, "Oh, watch this movie because it looks like that guy." So I think that's why a lot of us watched it. But I don't know. We turned people onto a weird movie with everybody in this movie had to have read this script and makes enough money that they could have turned this movie down. That's the wild thing.
Right.
Does it look like I need your fucking help?
They can't have all needed to, there's 40 people in this movie, even with $10 million to pass around for the entire budget. These people did this movie for the SAG rate. Why would all these people do this movie for the SAG rate? I think Ari Posen's family has some dirt on some Hollywood people.
Part of the Israeli mob.
A real loyal sense, which to me, they tell you there's projects you do for love. And there was a lot of love for a long time before any paychecks showed up.
How else can you explain this cast for this budget?
Right. And it wasn't that, the script wasn't bad, but it's not like, oh, I could see, maybe Ray Fiennes, because, there is some juice for him. There is a lot of bones for him to gnaw on.
He got to chew on the scenery in this movie. Good for him.
Good for him. Glenn Close, too. They were going for American Beauty, and they wound up with, I don't even know. Alpha Dog. Because this is
I was going to call this American Alpha Dog.
American Alpha Dog. If you've seen it, that's what this movie is about. What is this movie about? It's Alpha Dog. But it shouldn't be. We start off in, the Bluth, family community, where they live.
There's mountains, and it's just one of those just, carved out of the earth where they just, take all the trees and the grass and there's just dirty naked dirt and brand new identical looking houses. Just the worst thing America ever came up with.
They called this Summerlin in Vegas
with everything else we came up with.
Sure. Yeah. It's just the most cookie cutter of houses. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Edward Scissorhands kind of neighborhood where everything's just very the same. And then so you're introduced to the main character, Jamie Bell's character. I don't really remember his name, but Troy, I think. No, Troy's the friend. But anyways,
Troy's the friend. His name was Dean.
What's really going on in this movie is that parents just don't understand. All this shit is happening.
There's some real Brick energy too.
Yeah, and it where all of the kids are constantly doing adventures and shit, but the parents are always sweeping everything under the rug. They're so self-absorbed with their own wealth or personas and how they are perceived. Rita Wilson, Rita somebody, the one that's that's getting married to Ray Fiennes. Is so good in this. Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, is local.
I know people say that for reference, but sometimes it's in the newspaper. It's girlfriend of Brett Favre wins a gold medal in the World Cup, and it's she has a name.
Yes, which now I know it's Rita Wilson. She's a local celebrity, so all these other housewives and they put her on a pedestal, and she's she has now shed her last bit of humanity by divorcing the cop, her child's father, and now she's going for the mayor, essentially Gavin Newsom. I was oh my god, they cast Gavin Newsom in this, and Ray Fiennes played him. All this horrible dark shit is happening in this perfect suburbia, and the parents just don't care. The main character, Dean, finds that his best friend Troy or has blanked himself because YouTube will shut this shit down real quick. And he doesn't even tell the mom because that's how much it doesn't matter to them. And then a heist ensues, and then a kidnapping ensues, and it's a lot of things. And it's a lot to catch up with some angsty dialogue mixed in, and the Chumscrubber.
Yeah, which is like a comic book. Like he has a Chumscrubber, like plastic, like one of those PopCap figures, kinda.
Yeah.
It's just like it got a hollow base, and he keeps drugs in there because all the kids at school were doing prescription drugs. That's who Troy was selling to everybody. But apparently he did not find that career fulfilling. So while he was keeping everybody else happy, he wasn't getting high from his own supply, and you don't find out to the end of the movie, but he really was only himself to his one friend.
Right.
You know, nobody else really understood him. And I think this movie's about people being too self-absorbed to, parent their kids.
And he wasn't even himself to himself either. And that's part of the reveal and kind of the ride along. Because there's a lot of shit that happens, and they cram it into... I mean, they probably wanted to cut this down pretty much to, like... Well, I mean, it was 108 minutes.
Yeah. But
it felt like it should have been longer because there's a lot of scenes with certain groups, and it kind of pairs off. And when it's the movie Alpha Dog, it's like one whole different movie, and then you kind of like want to get back to what's going on with Dean because that's like the emotional crux of the movie.
There's like an A plot and a B plot, and Crystal, played by Camilla Bell, is sort of the conduit between sort of what Dean's doing and then what Billy and Charlie are up to.
Yeah, and everyone's giving different levels of performances, if that makes sense, because I feel like Ray Fiennes and Glenn Close were like trying to Oscar bait, because like
they probably thought people would see this movie, because when you see this cast, they made a lot of weird movies with incredible casts like this. Like they probably thought this was gonna be another Full Frontal, and maybe it could have been if the plot wasn't quite so weird.
I really think they were trying to ape off American Beauty, or just like, hey, that's the formula. It's going to be a monster cast, and we're just going to, it's going to be indictment on suburbia. And for whatever reason, that was a meteoric success, and then this one was not.
These people all did this movie as a favor, except probably John
Hurd. He did it for a sandwich. Interesting viewing experience, because I found myself emotionally invested because half the time I was frustrated with it, because sometimes it turns into a boner jam, and I'm like, and it's billed as like a comedy drama, right? It's just like we're real funny and stuff, and like I guess we're saying full spoilers, but even like the last bit where the guy from Dragon Ball Z gets like ran over by a car, and then it's like, I love that, because like the last 15 minutes of this movie goes off the rails so hard and actually becomes like a Twin Peaks episode.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like.
The whole thing feels like a fever dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything's so bright, and it's the desert, and all the houses are new and white, and everything's so blinding.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 15 minutes of the movie are very surreal.
Yeah. It's not shot cinematically at all until it is. Like he finds art in the mundaneness of suburbia. Like an episode of Degrassi or something, and then like Ray Fiennes walks by a mural of dolphins, and then the way it's like framed is like perfect. It's like a Sam Mendes film.
Yeah.
And maybe that kind of like back and forth and incongruity was what I was just like, it's like.
Yeah, because when he's copying other directors, he nails it. But when it's like, what do you want to do? It's sort of like, I mean, it's a first-time filmmaker.
Yeah.
I think people took the movie more seriously than they probably should have, because look at this ridiculous cast.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I also don't know how they advertise this movie, because I didn't see any advertisement for it, but
no trailer,
can't have marketed it correctly.
I bet Garbage was doing the theme song for it or something. It was like, "Baby, I'm ready to go," and it was billed as like, "Oh, this looks like Hackers" or something. And then you walk in and it's like, "What am I watching?" Yeah, but to be fair, the movie dictates sometimes that you need to take it seriously. There's that scene where Glenn Close shows up to, this is after she finds out her son is deceased, and she's like trying to tell people that that the wake is that weekend, and every person she's interacting with, she says, "I just want you to know that was not your fault."
Well, I'm calling because I just wanted to tell you, in case you were wondering, that in no way whatsoever do I blame you for Troy's death.
I don't blame you at all.
Don't blame you at all. And then like she looks through the peephole and she sees, or she like guilts Dean's mom into being like, "Oh, you're the only one that didn't cook me a casserole, in my grief. Like, how dare you? Here's this plate back." Like,
but nobody did.
Nobody did.
Nobody did. She took her own casserole around to everybody's house and being like, "Oh, I meant to drop off this oh, this isn't yours? That must mean you're the only one that didn't. Oh, that's fine then."
Yeah.
I'm sure you're busy. But she said that to somebody who's planning a wedding.
Yeah.
She was so desperate for attention. But not attention, but just like everybody was it was the worst thing that ever happened to her, and people just acted like, "Oh well, we got to get back to our own lives." And just she was out in the open just walking around, everyone was ignoring her. But the Chumscrubber says to people, "Don't ignore me."
She wasn't even affected by it in the way that a normal person would be either. She was just doing it, like you said, for the attention. "Oh, my child died, I need casseroles."
Think so, because it wasn't until another person acknowledged that it happened.
Yeah. Snapped her out of it, right?
Until Dean went and talked to her, and they both finally dropped the pretense.
Yes.
He was really, really smart. But, he kept all his ideas to himself. Unless you asked. And he took great pictures of people without them even knowing.
Because he has to walk around like nothing affects him because everybody's a dick to him. And then she has to, pretend to care what other people think about her all the time. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's like so wrapped up in their own shit that everybody's ignoring the fact that her kid died. It was he sold drugs to everybody, so everybody knew him, but nobody was his friend.
Right.
And he just died and nobody cared, and everyone just carried on with the party they were having. It wasn't until she was acknowledged that she finally was treated like a person. That's when she finally broke down and stopped. Because I don't think that was malicious. I think she was just trying to tell everybody in the nicest way possible that maybe they should acknowledge that her fucking kid died.
But I don't even think she was affected by it until he literally talked about it, because every single one of these adults went through an awakening. They all came out of it eventually. Like Dean's mom finally is just like, "My husband is a fucking fraud." And he's just like, because they were getting ready to go, because the two events on Saturday was the wake or the wedding, and literally you got to choose which one you went to. And the husband, William Fichtner's just like, "I'm gonna go to the wake because I have so much experience and I have so much material for my book for happiness." I really like his character is so good, but that's when she snaps out.
He looks down on his wife who peddles like vitamins for happiness.
Yeah,
but
Veggie Force. I know that stuff, right? I know. Veggie Force, right? Okay. Yeah. Hey, you don't happen to know they make a weight gainer for kids?
I could check, I guess.
And
he's peddling a fake fucking book. That's the best part. He has word vitamins.
He's getting rich off being a shitty father because his biggest subject is his failings and how that affects his own child. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to keep him fucking medicated. He's always giving him pills and stuff, and then he's like,
the same pills he was getting from Troy, by the way. He wasn't abusing street drugs. He was abusing prescription drugs,
legit pharmaceuticals,
to cope.
Yeah,
with living in the cage that is a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
You want me to take that?
It's just something to give you a little balance.
Okay, let me have it.
Oh.
That's the best part. That's the best part of this movie. Was the adults on seeing like the Stepford wife style of behavior start to malfunction. And I guess like the only one that wasn't it. Well, no, I would say even like Carrie Ann Moss. She's like, she wants to be the young hot mom, right? Like, oh, I'm cool. You guys want to drink and smoke in the house and play tuba for me? Cool. You know, she kind of like, I don't know, wins in the end. But every single one of them,
what she wanted.
Yeah, it's a trope. All these parents are tropes of like different levels of like fucking up their kids.
But people use drugs for escapism, but like the only people who ended up truly happy were the ones that physically escaped. Being the mayor of Crazy Town makes you king crazy. And it took him getting hit on the fucking head until he saw dolphins to snap him out of it. It's like highway hypnosis when you're driving and the white lines just keep looking the same and then you just zone out. It's the way the houses look like the lines on the highway. It's suburban hypnosis. And like sometimes it takes getting bonked on the head by a fucking speaker to snap out of it.
That was the most like Twin Peaksy part of it too, is him and the dolphin thing. I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
I knew you would get Twin Peaks vibes from this movie. That's why I suggested it for you. Yeah.
Everyone's a fucking nut job and it's great. And then there's that darkness underneath. That's perfectly my jam. Because it sounds like I'm kind of shitting on this, but I'm not.
Twin Peaks was a show where people said batshit crazy stuff to each other. And people just acted like it was normal. They're like, okay, but what I have to say back to you is batshit, and it's important to me.
Fellas, don't drink that coffee.
You'd never guess. There was a fish in the percolator. Sorry.
I didn't even acknowledge what you said.
I have a log. Yeah.
Yeah, people are just saying crazy shit to each other. It's great.
And the dialogue kind of felt like it was a German film made by an Israeli director, because it looks very American. It looks very Americana. That's like oozing off the screen. It's like American Cheese, the movie. But then like when you listen to the way they talk, it's off. But that makes it interesting too, because you're like, this is all a very familiar setting. This is a neighborhood I grew up in. Yet these people are talking like fucking aliens. Like I don't know what's going on.
I know, and it gave it such a weird quality when the dialogue is all in English, but some of it just sounds a little weird. Then maybe I won't have to kick your ass. I'm like, is this anime? Amazing.
That's how he got cast in Dragon Ball. But he is, that kid is such a fucking mustache twirling psycho. Yeah. And he's just outwardly, it's like watching Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man, right? He's the only one that's acting like a fool, like he is, and like so obnoxious about it. Like, and they're doing real crimes. They are selling drugs. They are kidnapping. They're murdering kids in their basement.
I know.
Yeah, motherfucker! Woo! He won't die.
You are such a pussy.
He's stronger than he looks.
Because it's like the movie Brick, sort of. It's like, I got to have a fight after school. He called me out, so I'm going to meet him by the flagpole. I knocked his lights out. Now it's time to go crash a heroin deal. It's like, what?
Who's like, watching you? Yeah.
We're just hanging out by the pool. Like in Alpha Dogs. Remember the kid was just hanging out? And then they're like, hey, did we kidnap this person? They have the same realization. It's they're a lot of sociopathic high school kids. And that's what this movie is really about, because Dean had to pretend nothing bothered him.
Yeah.
Because of people like Billy just picking on him all the time. He developed the world's thickest skin as a result, just as a defense mechanism. And then I think that was when people start to realize something was fucked up. The fact that Dean found his friend and then just went home, didn't tell the mom on the way out of the party, and just like walked home, and then woke up the next morning figuring somebody would talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't have been able to survive high school if he had acknowledged that fucked him up.
Mm-hmm.
But also, that's such an alien response that everybody in school hated it. Like you get a little bit more out of this movie on like repeated watchings, I think. I didn't really think this movie was that deep the first couple times I saw it.
No, and that's the thing. Like when I told you, I found it kind of annoying at first. I watched it again, and I'm like, okay, it takes that settling in period, because at first your brain's trying to figure out why it's so weird and different, and so you're focusing
like a
on the wrong
Liefeld
shit.
drawing, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Where like he traced something and that looks good, but then he has to do fingers and it looks fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah. This movie, because like some of the shots are really well composed, because he's like, oh, he studied that shit in art school, and then the rest of it's sort of like, I don't think you need a Dutch angle here, bro. Yeah,
just and like I started kind of like getting it, like with the Ray Fiennes character, because he is so overtly Twin Peaks. Like he's like ripped right out of a David Lynch thing. Like he's walking into the pool in his clothes. He's like spilling wine and like stepping in it and shit, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is supposed to be a little different and weird. This isn't just a poorly like made film. It's trying to say something, and there's a layer to it. But that I'm like, oh, Bing, that's why it fucking fell on its face so hard, probably, because they just, look at the poster. I haven't even seen the trailer.
It's just like Jamie Bell, and like it's like a yellow sky, like a music
looks like
video
Hackers, right? Like it just looks like...
No, it doesn't even. It looks like the cover from Domino. It's such a weird poster, dude. It's terrible.
It's terrible. And I'm sure they did not get behind it at all. And some of the stuff, like just the wraparound of the Chumscrubber at all, is bizarre. It just comes in at such odd times.
Like, enough of what we think. Who would you recommend this movie to?
I don't know, man.
Okay, hard.
Besides someone that really likes David Lynch, specifically more of like Twin Peaks-esque stuff, it would be a hard sell, because it changes a lot. It's kind of dull if you're looking at it in the wrong way. But once you kind of start listening to the language of it.
What was dull about it? The fact that it was mundane, because it seemed like everybody was speaking through fake smiles the whole time. And the thing about a fake smile is that's how monkeys threaten people. So somewhere in our lizard brain, we know that a smile is an implied threat sometimes.
Yeah.
And everybody's smile feels like an implied threat. So it's a very mundane film, but it's not boring, because you can see the underlying menace and the lack of regard for their fellow human beings. And like, that is what's interesting about it.
It feels like it's on Prozac, because it is. Like, it does too good of a job. You're like, why are these people not doing anything? Like, especially whenever Jamie Bell and Camilla Bell, again, I hope not related, are like speaking, you're just like, this is the dumbest like teenager dialogue I've ever seen. Teenagers don't talk like this. There's no like, they sound like the adults.
But they were being fake with each other for most of the movie.
Right.
Why it sounded like, I think a good match for dialogue that's a little off because people are lying to each other is dialogue that's like translated from German and English.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of word order that's a little off, and then it just... Yeah, the movie's unsettling. It's like the Liminal Spaces subreddit was a movie. And if you haven't been to the Liminal Spaces subreddit, you're welcome.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the best thing I can recommend. Nothing calms me down like seeing those really weird pictures. It's like an empty like Chuck E. Cheese with like a light on in the back is like the weirdest shit. Makes your skin crawl.
Ugh,
This whole movie's like that. It's great.
And then all the adults are cartoon characters, and it's just like, it feels like an episode of The Twilight Zone a little bit. But it's like it's taking itself seriously, but it always tries to have like, you could tell like this was like a production with probably a ton of notes on the dailies, right? They're just like, they shot this great scene, and then they're like, this isn't like, people are gonna get bored or whatever. We need to throw in like a joke or something. Like, someone's got to fart or make the kid do a tuba thing. I think you said it best. It's shaking your hand with a switchblade, with the hand behind the back with the other hand, and it's enjoyable, man. I probably would have. I don't know if I would have liked it more or less if I would have saw it like when it came out, because that was like around the time where I'm like, oh, Requiem for a Dream's the best thing ever made. So I'm glad I saw it now.
Maybe I was just a snob at the time. I was like, Pie's better. Oh, you like Pulp Fiction? I'm a real connoisseur and I like Reservoir Dogs. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. So this was a good one. Who would you recommend it to?
I mean, if you're watching the Cult of Films, you're 3/4 sold on this movie already.
You're here. Yeah.
Like, I would recommend it that if you like this show, watch it. I'm recommending the movie if you like my opinion. Yeah. So I think you will get something out of it, and I think maybe a little bit of what we said tonight, if it wasn't too spoilery, will kind of help save you the repeated viewings. I think if you know what to watch for, it'll help. So maybe I robbed you the experience of figuring this out, but at the same time, I think I saved you the work of having to come to the conclusion on your own and watch back through. And you can still watch it a third time if you feel robbed of that experience. So I don't know. I recommend you watch this movie and then watch it again.
Perfect. Yeah, I would recommend it twice for sure. That was like invaluable, and I was like, I don't know if I could sit through most of it again. And then I put it on again. I'm like, this is a totally different movie, and I love the shit out of it now.
Yeah,
sir, good rec. And for other recs like the Chumscrubber that even I couldn't pick out, where can everyone find you?
I am at Jason E. Alt on Twitter. And I recommend Twitter as a home base because I have my link tree pinned to my Twitter profile.
Perfect. And I am John the Host. You could follow me at John the Host. You could also follow this very show at the Cult of Films and come talk to us there and ask for other opinions on the Chumscrubbers and others. Until next time, don't take your head off and yell from a mountaintop. I don't know.
Definitely. Don't scrub anybody's chum.